again. Go, Bernie, go!
Go!
Go, Bernie, go! Go, Bernie, go! All right. Thank you all so much for coming out here today. There's a zillion other things that you can be doing in beautiful Southern California on a Sunday afternoon, but you chose to be here, cramped like sardines, because this is a cause that we all believe in. I think we all know that our government has been hijacked by the ultra-wealthy, the transnational corporations, the elites, whoever they may be, and that our government is not representing us. Let's see, there was a time we faced this before, like 200 years ago, when we had taxation without representation, and that's what we got today. So, just like they had a revolution 200 years ago, we have to have one, but it's going to be a peaceful political revolution. And that means that each and every one of us has to be committed to making sure that Bernie Sanders is elected as President of the United States.
I would add with the workable Congress.
With a workable Congress, that's right.
Oh, yeah.
Well, that's part of the revolution. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead. This is an agenda and with information that you're going to want to walk away with. And if we run out, let me know and I will print more off, okay? Because I ran 40. How many people are here?
I am.
There's a chair over here, someone must have.
There's a chair
Somebody
over
needs to
there.
take
You want to
count.
sit down?
Okay. My gosh. So what I really would love for everybody to do is really take a minute and introduce yourselves, but then we'll be here another hour. So maybe what we can do is take 1 minute and everybody turn to the person on either side of you and
Thank
introduce
you.
yourselves to them. Okay, we got ready and go.
I'm Jody. Nice to meet
Hi,
you.
Eve. Eve.
Eve, Jody.
Nice to meet you, Jody.
Hello. Hi. I'm Jenna.
Oh, you're Bernie. I'm perfect.
All right, and stop. It works for the conductor. Okay. Excellent. So thank you all for coming, and I know that there are some of you who are, I would consider leaders in the Bernie movement in Orange County, and so those of you who have signed up to host a party on July 29th or anything else, would you please stand up? All right. So I'm going to start here with John. And John, if don't, okay, I'll be there who it is. Okay.
So spring.
So John, just go real briefly, if you can tell them what it is that you're doing.
Okay, so I don't know how many else of you are here from the email we got from Zach from the organizing. I know Lisa's here. I met her, but there's about 20 of us that got email, and you're on the emails as well, I think, correct?
Well,
Is that, yeah.
Lisa forwards
Yeah.
it
Oh,
to me.
okay. So there's about 20 of us that are going to be considered the organizing team for the public
Yes.
events on the 29th, and we're actually going to meet tomorrow night at one of the members' houses, and so I guess I kind of just stepped up and started answering everybody's emails when they came in and said, all right, let's do this. So we have 2 events set up for sure on the 29th. One of them is going to be at Pink Ribbon Donuts in Mission Viejo, and I'm still waiting back from the confirmation, but one of them will be at Cal State Fullerton. And then tomorrow night we'll know more, because I just literally found out the time when I saw it on the agenda for the 29th. So we've got an organizing group of 20 for the public events that we're going to start, and I just got an email from Zach that I haven't had a chance to read yet because it's really long. And, but then we're gonna go from there as far as the public organizing events. But we'll work in conjunction, of course, with Dee Marie and the rest of the groups with the, yes.
Who is Zach?
I have no idea. It just says, it's all on the name says Zach Organizing Team. Lisa?
I have a hunch he's a staffer on the Bernie
Yeah,
Sanders campaign.
Yeah. right. That's all I know, because it just came, we kind of got the email maybe 3 or 4 or 5 days ago, tops.
Yeah.
And then it's kind of gone from there.
All right.
But I picked up the 2 spots, right after a couple of phone calls.
And I think the whole idea of that is that the Sanders people just want to make sure that anyone, anywhere in Orange County can go to a public location and get involved with the organizing on the 29th of July.
That's right.
Right.
That's
We're going to try to crisscross the county and have it like in each quadrant and the center for at least one public event in each area, and then hopefully between the 20 of us we can spread out among the events.
Who do we contact? I might have a location. I just moved somewhere where I can have 150 people watch TV.
You can contact me, I can give you my contact info.
Then I will.
Okay.
Thank you.
And any time that you need something, if you don't have John, you can write to me. I put all my information's on the bottom of the sheet, so you can either email or call me after 10 a.m. And I'm happy to connect you back, like if you need to connect with John or you need to connect with somebody else, then I will do that for you. Marlene?
Will you also post all of this on the California site to California for Bernie?
Yeah.
For those people that may not be connected right here, they might see it there and then get a page of it.
That's right. Well, and I would like to encourage everybody here in this room, how many people are not from Orange County in here? Wow, thanks for coming.
Well, Long Beach is close enough. Next to Orange County.
And we have so much fun. So we do have a meetup site, and it's listed on here. And would like for you all to please join the meetup site, whether you're going to John's or anybody else's event, because that can serve as a central, and I'll actually make you a co-organizer on there.
Okay.
So then, you know, and this movement belongs to all of us.
It's grassroots.
Okay, it's grassroots. So anybody wants this, if you have leadership skills and you want to step up or you want to develop them, I'm happy to work with you. Just let us know and we'll make sure that you become part of the team. Yes.
You know, Bernie's website also has a list of all of the 29th parties. And
Yes,
I know
they
that-
do.
I saw that there was one in my area, up in Placentia. So maybe
That's
That's,
oh, that's yours.
Yes.
Okay, and you're,
Well, they're next. They're next. Hold on. Okay. All right. So, well, let's go ahead and have Judy and Bernie stand up and tell us about what they've got going on the 29th. And can somebody look and see if that air conditioning can move down just a little bit more? Cooler.
So the 29th is at your house and here?
It's what? Okay. Let me explain this.
Okay.
The 29th is a very special event that the Bernie Sanders campaign is launching across the country. So people in private homes and in public venues are meeting because Bernie is going to live stream into the events.
Okay.
And he's going to tell us how to launch the political revolution. Okay. Yes. So, and I think it's really cool that they decided to have some public venues, and I thank you and those of you who have wanted to help John with the public venues. It's a little distracting sometimes, but that's a way of reaching out to people who don't know who Bernie is.
Right.
So I think that's fantastic.
Well, the one I'm going to use is actually, they close at 3:30. They're going to stay open just for
Oh,
us.
how fantastic.
All
All right.
Because a friend of mine runs the shop, so she said, okay, we'll stay open and we'll
And get all the staff to stay.
Yes, exactly. And then they're going to take some overtime, so yeah.
Okay. So, and then we have wonderful people like Judy and Bernie Unger who have donated their home for an event. So, and they said this is going on over 1,500 places in the United States, and I guarantee you by the time the 29th rolls around, I bet you we have 3,000 places across the United States, which is so exciting. This is, I gotta tell you something, I have personally been waiting for this.
Yes, we all have.
I think we all have, so this is really, as we say in Boston, wicked exciting. Okay, so Judy and Bernie, go ahead.
Okay. Okay, so first of all, Bernie Sanders has a great name. So, yeah, you know, I've been sort of deeply interested and committed to understanding the politics of our nation. And I've been disgruntled and teed off, just like everybody else, with what's been going on, because it's been hijacked. And so we listened to the Crown Cars, and I go, oh no. And I listened to Hillary, and I read up where Wall Street is contributing more or less the same, a little bit more to Jeb Bush and a little bit less to Hillary, but basically they're owning them both. And there's got to be a
Corporatist.
Okay.
She's a corporatist.
And then, yeah, okay, and then I'm starting, on the outside of my consciousness, I'm listening to Bernie Sanders say one thing, and I'm thinking this is like Howard Dean, but it skyrockets and then it's gonna fall apart. And like I grew up in the George McGovern era where we were kind of
Yeah.
George McGovern.
Yep.
Cool.
Yeah, and that didn't work too well. Because ultimately the whole political process gets hijacked by the machines than as now. But shoot, we're gonna do something. And the more I hear, I said, instead of oh no, it's oh yeah. Oh yeah. Right? So anyways, Judy found out that there's this event and she says, stop talking about it. Let's just do something about it. So maybe we could be kind of a North Orange County Center.
Well, that's the plan. That is the plan.
We're in Placentia.
Okay.
Yeah, we put our name up on the site. We said, well, we'll start small. We'll get 12 people. And that was filled in a microsecond. We got about 10 of our own personal friends coming in for this.
Wow.
We'll have to think about opening it up some more, see what's to come.
This is exciting. Thank you. Judy, is there anything you want to say?
No, that's fine.
Okay, all right, thank you. So, we want to stay as an organized unit. That doesn't mean you can't go off and do your own thing. It just means that we all need to know what each other's doing so that we don't duplicate and we don't run over each other, okay? And so that's kind of, I'm going to just tell you real briefly a little bit about me so you know why I'm standing here in front of the room, okay? And honestly, I knew nothing about politics until Occupy happened.
Yay!
So basically, I opened up a Facebook page, Occupy Orange County, and that was the end of it. It just took off. So I was kind of the chief instigator, but we had a great team. We immediately did a conference call, 65 people on the conference call. We broke into teams, work was delegated, and believe it or not, in conservative Orange County on October 15, 1,300 people showed up for the International Day of Protest that launched Occupy Orange County. So that's what teamwork does. Teamwork makes the work. Right? We've got a dream. You know, it used to be our black brothers and sisters. Now we're all rolled into one. We all have a dream. And by working together as a team, we can make this happen. Okay? So that's why I ask you to join on the meetup group. And then if you're on Facebook, which by the way, if you are in politics, any little way, you should be on Facebook. There's 1 billion people on there and on a monthly basis. And so there's a good way of getting the word out. So there is a Facebook group called Occupy Orange County. So as I was saying, I woke up at Occupy, and the only thing that really upset me about Occupy was there was really
No organization.
right, no organization, and you're talking to an event planner. I was a little frustrated, right? Okay, so then, and I said, things have got to change, and they're not going to change by us supporting the status quo. And so I decided to run for Congress in CD 39, which is your area, I believe, because I know Carol lives there, and against Ed Royce. And I did it as an independent because, quite frankly, I'm sorry, I don't want to step on people's toes, but as we all know, that both sides of the aisle is owned by Wall Street. Okay?
Yeah.
So, and they're not
Yep.
talking, when they run their campaigns, they're not talking about the real issues.
No.
They're talking about issues that divide us. So if we can continue to stay divided, they can still continue to conquer.
Exactly. Exactly.
So running as an independent, I was able to get out there, and Carol was my campaign manager, and she's a trooper, man. She knocked on all those doors with me, and we went down to the farmers market, and we did grassroots campaigning, and we talked to people, and we talked about the real issues, the things that people didn't even know about that's going on behind, the cloak of the corporate media. We're not going to tell people that we're bombing the hell out of Pakistan. And nobody knows about it, that we killed an American without due process. No. So that's what I was doing during my campaign. And then from there, I've just kind of rolled into other things, GMO-free Orange County.
Let's support you.
And also chief instigator here for March Against Monsanto Laguna Beach. So that's what I've been doing, grassroots. I did, as soon as I lost in the primary, I drove up to Salt Lake City and I worked on Rocky Anderson's presidential campaign, he was the 2012 candidate for the Justice Party, which was formed because they knew that we had no one representing us. Okay, but the truth is, we all here are the politically enlightened. We understand what's going on. Do you know that in the 2012 election, all the presidential votes cast, the votes cast for the president, only 1.8% of those votes were cast for third party or other. All right?
Yeah,
Let that sink in.
that's right.
1.8%.
Well, see, that's why we know Bernie's serious.
That's right.
Uh-huh.
That's right. And that's why Bernie chose, whatever, to run
As a Democrat.
For the Democratic nomination, yes.
Right.
Is he gonna get the Justice Party nomination?
What the Justice Party has done is we have decided not to run anybody against him.
Yes.
Okay?
Very
And
good.
most of us that are with the and I'm on the National Steering Committee, and we are all working in grassroots efforts for Bernie.
Yay!
Okay. All right, so now and then, fast forward, and I now work for California Clean Money Campaign. That is my day job and night job and weekend job. And basically what we're doing with that, and I'm going to send a petition around, is that California Clean Money Campaign is a nonprofit. It's been in existence for over 12 years, and we are working for election reform so that you can get the power of your vote back. Okay?
Right.
And one of the things that has happened here in California that is really disconcerting is that, when I moved here, I loved that we had ballot measures. It's the voice of the people. We get to bring things to the people to vote on it, right? Not so much since Citizens United. Because since Citizens United, we've been having abundance amount of money dropped on these propositions in misleading advertising.
Yep.
People are voting against their best interest
Yep.
because they're confused. Okay?
We fought that hard in 2012 with Prop 32 with all that money coming in from the Koch brothers and the Mungers for 38, and Arizona was dumping money, and it was all coming from out of state
Yep.
for our ballot measure to destroy collective bargaining. Unfortunately, we beat it back.
Yes, yes.
Yeah.
You were one of the fortunate ones. How about the right to know for GMO labeling?
Right.
Yeah.
Right? They were winning. We were winning going into the election, and then they dropped, a total of $44 million, and boom,
What
we
kind of
lost
stupid
it.
advertising do they run on television? Because I don't watch television anymore. I mean,
Scare
it's just-
It was scare tactics that your grocery bills were going to be more, yada yada
You wouldn't
yada.
be able to feed your kids
Right.
gonna be hungry.
Yeah.
I turned off that television.
And people are just
Okay.
stupid enough to believe it.
Yes,
Right.
that's
So
it.
basically, what we have is we've been working 5 years on this bill, the California Disclose Act, and basically it will make it so that you can actually see the disclosure. Because people go, oh, we got disclosure law now, but can you see it? Absolutely not. I'm in the business, I look for it, I cannot see it. Okay, it goes by too fast, there's no contrast, and they do it so you can't see it. So with AB 700, this year's version of the California Disclose Act, it will mandate high contrast, specific size font so that you will be able to read it. It will also, on the radio ads, you know the speed reader that goes like this, we can't understand something what
Right.
you're saying. No more. They're going to have to speak the disclosure in the same pace as the commercial. Okay, so
Good.
it's a very effective bill. We also, right now, we have follow the money, and we hope it stays in the bill. But just getting that, just getting so that you can read it is powerful. But we'd like to make it go a little bit stronger, and that's what we call follow the money, whereby we trace the money back to the top 3 original donors. So that if it's Monsanto, Chevron, or Anheuser-Busch paying, we know that's who it is, and not Americans for Brighter Tomorrow. Okay? I think that will help make a better decision.
Right.
Yes. So basically, that's what we're doing. I'm going to start this petition on either side of the room. We'd love your support. Petitions are extremely powerful, especially the paper petitions, because they become part of the bill analysis. So when the legislator goes, they look at what's called the bill analysis, and it's kind of like cliff notes for the bill. And then they can know, by seeing how many people have signed paper petitions, what their constituent support is. All right? So when people tell you petitions don't work, you tell them, that's not true. I know it does. So we were able to get over 100,000 so far, but every time we start a new bill, we have to start from ground zero. So I think where are we at now? Maybe 5, 7, 8,000 signatures right now, I think. So, but we need support, so please sign the petitions as they come along, okay? So that's a little about me, it's a long way, and I hate to talk about myself, but I just want you to know that I do have the background to help, all right? And that's all I'm here to do, is to facilitate. I believe in developing leaders, because you can't have one person. You have one person, you take that one person out, boom. There goes the movement. We need every person to be a leader, okay? And I know that everybody's kind of has their own constraints as to how much they can do, but I want you to think of yourself as a leader. You know, what can you do? And feel free to share your ideas, okay? Because that's what this is about. All right, so so we've done the introductions, and we're going to just real briefly do a 2 little clips on Bernie. Created by a gentleman up in Glendale. His name is James Rogowski, and it's called BernieSandersVideo.com. I wrote it on your sheet. All right, I highly recommend that you use that as a resource. He updates it continually. I don't think he sleeps. I'm serious. It's amazing what he's doing. So anytime you have to go speak to somebody and you're looking for information, or if you're going to have a house party and you need videos, go there, okay? And you will find what it is that you're looking for. By the way, he's really doing a wonderful job on our Twitter storms too. We trended yesterday, yay! So it was Feel the Burn. Feel the Burn trended, hashtag. So it's good. All right, so we'd like to encourage you all to also do that. So while we are doing things in Orange County, we can be doing things on the computer too.
What does trended mean for those of us who are?
Oh, okay. All right,
Things that are happening now.
It's, in other words, it's like there's a majority of people talking about the same thing on Twitter. Bless you. As you know, so yesterday it was Roots Nation. Bernie was giving his town hall, and so we all, people for Bernie, we had a Twitter storm. Orange County had a Twitter storm. We all had Twitter storms going.
So it's like activity.
And yes, and so Feel the Burn, which was the hashtag we chose for that particular Twitter storm, and we tweeted to the Latino community in Spanish and English. So I'm telling you, there's some really dedicated people on the internet that are working with us, because I can't read Spanish.
So is it true that the Bernie campaign would like us to use, or anytime you're tweeting about him, to use either hashtag Feel the Burn and hashtag Bernie 2016?
I have not received a directive, but that makes sense.
That's what I've read several times.
Okay, well, and that's what I pretty much do. Yeah, so thank you, Lisa. So be sure if you're out there tweeting or even posting on Facebook, because Facebook is now using hashtags. Right. To use those two hashtags, Bernie, hashtag Bernie 2016, hashtag Feel the Burn, BERN. Okay? All right, so real briefly, I'd like to hear from a couple of you all to find out what it is that brought you here today. Okay? So don't everybody raise your hand at one time, but and just stand up and take 2 minutes and tell us your name, where you're from, and what you hope to get out of today.
Do I have to put the camera on myself if I'm talking?
If you want to.
My name's Walden. I tell people I'm from Utah, and I'm out of the matrix now. It's like we're being poisoned in our food supply, absolutely poisoned. And I was in Shawnee, Oklahoma in January last year. I was overweight, I was getting Alzheimer's, I was probably getting a neurodegenerative disease that my mother was dying from. I find this Dr. Blaylock on the internet. He explains to me how we're being poisoned in the processed food. I get off that processed food, in 6 weeks I lose 30 pounds, my brain inflammation goes away, and I wake up and I see what's happening in our political process. And we just got to push back against the corporations who are controlling everything about our lives. That's all it is. It's nothing but the truth.
Yep.
Thank you.
I'll
This is your
talk.
time. Okay, Eve.
Teacher, and she's got $65,000 worth of student debt. And so when I went back to school, I got involved in the Student California Teachers Association and the National Education Association. I was part of the student program. And I was part of their Degrees Not Debt campaign because there's so many people, like the woman here said, graduated from college, can't get a job, we're drowning in this debt, you can't buy a car so you can get a job because your student loan payments are so high.
Yep.
Then if you do, you are paying your car payment, you can't buy a house to start a family because your student loan payments are so high. And Bernie's the only one that said that college tuition should be free. So when I was working with the National Education Association, and I went and spoke to the NEA retired, and I went and spoke to the AFT and NEA combined higher ed conference, explaining to them about what's happening to their students, what's going on, that we're not able to proceed with our lives, that we're just coming out of college as indentured servants because we're paying off our loans. That's why I'm here, because I want to make that change. And I told the union when I was working with them, I said, you're not going far enough. You're saying we have to have Pell Grants that we can pay back, or livable Pell Grants. I said, well, you're not saying that it needs to be free. College tuition needs to be free. If K through 12 could be free, then higher ed can be free.
Yeah.
The money's there, it's just not appropriated properly. If we have 20 administrators making over $100,000 a year, while adjunct professors, which I was trying to do, are making $3,000 a course. $3,000 a course. And that means when the semester's over, you don't get paid. So the student debt crisis is a crisis. It's affecting all aspects of our economy and our lives, and Bernie's the only one that addressed it, and that's why I'm here.
Dave and then Jen.
Well, we have,
What? Oh, yes, we have, okay. Everybody, all right. So go ahead and then we'll.
I just have a quick comment about
Okay,
that.
go ahead, Jen.
Bernie has a lot of experience on the Congressional Budget Committee. He knows the ropes, he knows where to get money, and he knows how to do what he's saying. All right, that's all.
Thank you, Jen. Okay, go ahead, Esther.
This is the problem when I met him
Uh-huh.
before he ran. I was there because when I find out, sometimes, okay, I'm gonna tell you then, sometimes my English is not too good, but I'm gonna try to. When I find about this guy, was my hope back in my heart. And I think that everybody feels the same way. But especially me as a Mexican, morena, dark woman, and I've been treated bad, because my color. And this guy, when I tell him I don't have any more hope, because in my country it's corruption, it's bad situation. People coming because it's no jobs, it's no food. Police and criminals taking back their lands. and they have to feed their kids. And people put their finger on ourselves and criticize us, but they don't say where they come. Like everybody else here, looking for some money for feed their kids. That's why I'm here, because when I find this guy, he opened again, like I said, like I see this little light on the tunnel, and my hope came, and I said, this guy not just gonna save this country, gonna save mine and the rest of the Latin America, and not just that, but probably the entire world, because he don't want war. So that's why it's my hope. And you know what? He make us come together and love us back. And you know, when the people see my sticker in my car, they say, hey, they talking back and it's white people. And they said, hey, I love your sticker. Hey, I love you too.
Don't say anything about
I'm gonna let Dave go and then we'll go here. Okay, Dave?
Hi, everyone. I'm glad to see you all turn out here today. I'd like to talk to you about why I'm here, because I'm here for the same reason you are. Esther's story resonates with me. My Indian brother over here resonates with me. What I'm here for is there anybody in this room that has any trepidation about Bernie's campaign? We can live with, in that case, we can move beyond politics 101. What do we have to do next? Time is of the essence. We have to get other people on board. We have to get the people on board that don't know about Bernie. I was just in a meeting last night in Riverside. It was primarily a Hispanic group meeting. It was great. I got there 2 hours late. There were 150 people still there. There were empty plates and bric-a-brac on the tables. There were easily another 100 people there earlier. And people that spoke, I heard a gentleman from Mexico, works with Mexican political parties. Even though my Spanish is not that good, I understood what he was saying, and eventually got translated anyway. And he just had the crowd in an uproar. The energy is out there. Now, how do we translate that energy? First, we've got to put aside elitism. I've been involved in politics. You can hear about my background sometimes if you like. But if anybody was in 68 campaigns, they might have remembered a button that looked like this, which is like indecipherable. It was to me, that was an elitist button. I've got it in my collection. What it meant was for McCarthy before New Hampshire.
Oh.
Big deal, you know? Get out there and make the campaign work. That's what we have to do today. For McCarthy before New Hampshire. That was a button they had done up, and it was pretty much an elitist button. We got to crack out of our elitism and meet everyone, because it's a campaign for everybody.
Hey, Dave, if you're going into organizational things, we actually have a place for that.
Okay.
So I'd really like to stay on some
I'll come back
topic
to
for
that.
testimonials. Okay, thank you. Jen?
I just wanted to say that what got me involved was the first thing was Occupy Orange County. Some folks from our wonderful affiliate Friends Anonymous reached out and got a hold of me, and so I got really active with them, kind of, sort of. And then we did Occupy, and then we did the Monsanto March. And it just really kind of hit me that, you know, we're not powerless, and we just have to take the power back, you know, power the people, and, you know, we just got to get out there and do it. And part of it is we've been sleeping for so long, you know, that we just have to really make ourselves knowledgeable on everything and how we can do it. That's the key. And the thing that drives me to Bernie is I work in the software industry, and I'm sick and tired of seeing companies bought and sold and everything being outsourced. It's messed up. I'm watching it happen in yet another company. You know, and I'm lucky that I'm a hybrid of software and finance, and I'm usually safe, but it just sucks watching stuff get outsourced. My sons are working retail. They have to work 2 retail jobs because nobody wants to hire anybody full-time to pay benefits anymore, and they're in their 20s. Our millennials are getting screwed. And that's not okay, you know, and the whole education thing, I'm still paying off my student loans. I mean, you know, right all the way down the board, my husband works for a union, you know, just, we're all being affected by all this stuff, and it's so important that we reach out and educate people, because they're so predisposed when they hear the word socialism for Bernie. That's my biggest stopping point, is they go, oh, he's a communist. Yeah, no, he's not. Right. You know, so we need to really be knowledgeable on those points and share that, so that's it.
Very good, excellent, excellent, thank you.
First of all, I want to say that we are all immigrants. We came in and took this country from the Indians, and we really from the very beginning, had the cloaks over our eyes, people. If you haven't seen any of the history, I'm working with the tribe now in New Mexico, and it breaks my heart. Okay? Because I used to be proud to be an American, and I'm not anymore. And I want to change that. And it's me and you and all of us together with our hearts that we change that. And I want you to know that you are not the only immigrant here. I'm an immigrant. All of us are immigrants. Every single person in this country except the Native American Indians.
And the blacks.
Yes.
Some of us immigrated, a lot of us didn't.
No problem. I just want to put the Indians in there because I feel they never get recognized. The second thing I want to say, and I'm going to go totally off the political thing, and it might woo-woo some of you out, but I want you to know that this is where I come from. I am not political. I haven't watched TV for many, many years. I don't even own one. I believe in the human heart, and I want you to know right now that the stars are aligned in a way for political revolution.
Yeah.
Like all the historic events that have happened to better our country and our future, it is the same. And there's a little bit higher aspect to what's going on now because there is an evolutionary process that you might not all be aware of, but you are being affected by it. And it's that energy. Bernie has it, and he realizes he can tap into that, people. It's through your heart that you spread this energy, through our mouths that the words create. The word of Bernie, the word of God, whatever you want to call it. But we do it as a collective. We the people are the first words. That is what has to happen. We have to become we the people in our hearts. And we have to bring that to Bernie's campaign. Because I tell you, we are ripe for this. Every single state in the union. They're taking away our national parks and selling them to fracking companies. I don't usually talk about it because I get so upset. I'm an indigo, and injustice absolutely makes me, I cannot handle it. So what I can do is put my head down and focus on things like this. So I won't talk about it again. But I just want you to know that everything is right for this, people. Let's move forward together, and let's help each other, everybody.
Time for a revolution.
We got like 50 minutes and we got started late. And so do we want a couple of more testimonials or are we ready to move forward into organizing?
Move forward.
All right, okay. So what's up
Dean
here?
Marie.
Everybody needs,
Dean Marie. Am I part of the organization?
we're gonna, actually I was just going into this. So, thank you. So, right here, it actually is a 12-step economic plan, and I can't find it on my computer right this minute. The only thing that's off in here is develop new economic models to support workers in the United States instead of giving tax breaks to corporations which ship jobs to low-wage countries overseas.
It's now number 3, I believe, and that's my entire focus.
So yours is number 3?
No, whatever.
No,
I think
no,
that's
that's on here too.
Oh, well,
Number
we
6?
saw different emails, but nonetheless.
Okay, so nevertheless, familiarize yourself with what Bernie proposes to do. And one of the things that I think really speaks to the millennials, and people, we've got to get the millennials on board. Is that, and it's not just the millennials. What?
Marie, there's an updated 12-step program that I posted on the.
I know it is. I just can't get to it right now. Okay, thank you. And I will, you guys can actually find this. Carol did all the work and she's put up the 12-step one, and it's on our Facebook page, okay? Facebook group, Orange County for Bernie Sanders. In the file section, you can download it and print it out, okay? All right, so now, as I was saying about the millennials, okay? And it's not just millennials. There's some of us that really need to go back to school, all right? I wanted to go back to school when I got divorced, and it was cost prohibitive, all right? So what he really wants to do is to make secondary education affordable or free. Free. It used to be that way.
Yeah.
Okay?
Was in California.
It was in California. So, and it's a doable thing. And so I would like to introduce Dolores. Dolores is going to share real briefly a story about what education can do.
Excuse me.
Oh, it's warmer over here.
Feel the love, Dolores.
Oh,
Come over here. Over here.
it's that bright light.
Yeah, just because Carol's gonna need it.
Oh, I'm Dolores Coates, and I feel the passion in this room. And I marched in Austin, Texas in May against Monsanto. And I've had the privilege of working with people for years. And so I want to share a story with you. I believe in education for people. And when Bernie Sanders says there's 45 million people in poverty, I believe that education does bring people out of poverty, although I concur with you that even if you have an education, it doesn't always guarantee a good paying job. I understand that. But without an education, it certainly doesn't guarantee you a living wage. So I had a woman come in my office a few years ago that was on welfare. And she had 4 children. And she came to me, people come with different issues, and she came to me because she wondered if she should marry the man that was the father of her 4th child. Her first husband, she had 3 children with, but he abused her and the children, so he left. She left. And then she was involved with this other man that she wondered if she should marry him. And I said, does he hit you? Yes. I said, why would you want to be with a man who hits you? She said, I want my son to have a father. She was on welfare. She was desperate. She made $1,100 a month on welfare. I saw her HUD house. It was awful. I would not want to raise a family there. She felt trapped. She was trapped. I couldn't live on $1,100 just with one person. She was doing it with a family of 4. She did not marry the man. I talked to her about different jobs that she could do, and so we went through that routine of her getting a different job and cleaning houses that had just been built and that kind of thing, and she said, but I don't really want to do this. So then I started exploring education for her, and I said,
You got a text message.
sorry.
did they say sex message?
That's Dolores.
That's a different website.
That is a different website. Anyway, so we discussed the school, and I said if you go part-time, you can do it in 4 or 5 years. She said people said that she was good at listening to their problems and helping them go through that and find solutions. And I said, well, have you ever thought about going to college? And she said, well, yeah, but she said, how would I do it with a family of 4? And I said, why don't you check it out? I spent a year with her in counseling, and she decided to get a degree in psychology. I said, if you go part-time, it'll take you 17 years to do. And she about fell off the chair. And so she decided to check it out and enrolled in college at Riverside City College. And she graduated after 4 years with a bachelor's in psychology. And then she went on for her MSW, her master's in social work. She wanted to get a degree so she could go work at the county and be nice to people, because the people that dealt with welfare people, some of them, weren't very compassionate and made her feel a lot of shame and like she wasn't worthwhile. I said, use your welfare, make it count. Don't just stay on it forever, but make it work for you. So she graduated with a BA in psychology and MSW, a master's in social work, and she bought a home and worked for the county, and she got off of welfare. This is one story out of 45 million people that live in poverty. She lived in poverty. I absolutely love getting people where they're wanting to be somewhere that they're not. She felt trapped. She saw no way out except to marry the man that was abusive to her. But she didn't marry him. She got a college education. Bernie Sanders believes in free education for college, and he said it would cost $700 billion for a decade. But it's 1.3 trillion for the Iraq war. So it's putting money into the right place where people can then put money back into the economy. 90% of the money that women earn goes back into the economy, goes into their family, and it enhances the family income and gets people out of poverty. And by the way, women, there's a lot of scholarships for women. So Dee Marie, you might qualify for a scholarship to go to college, and it might not cost. If Bernie gets in, you don't have to worry about it.
All righty, thank you, honey.
You're welcome.
You know, the GOP always loves to say, get a job! Okay, except there are no jobs.
So now they're saying we're wrong.
So basically, we have to educate our country. And we have to. There's no ifs, ands, or buts about it. We have to educate our country. And Bernie's on the right track. Okay, so according to agenda, we are now moving forward into organizing a political revolution in Orange County. All right. One of the first things that we're going to put on here, and then we're going to shut this thing down and so what we're going to do, maybe I'll wait. All right, Carol, we're going to let you do your thing so then we can shut down the projector.
Okay.
One of the most important things that we have got to work on in organizing is the delegate selection. All right, I actually witnessed in California where Rocky Anderson won the primary for the Peace and Freedom and lost the nomination at the convention because Roseanne Barr basically courted all the delegates. Okay?
Roseanne Barr?
Yeah. Well, she lost at the Green Party and she decided she wanted to run for the Peace and Freedom. So, and I know that the Democratic Party is a little bit more complicated than the Peace and Freedom, and maybe it wouldn't be quite as overt and obvious, but the delegate process is major, okay? And we can influence the voting on the delegates. And so that's what Carol is very involved with the Democratic Party. She actually hosts her own North County PDA, and she's on the e-boards, is that right? E-boards?
Yeah, the California Democratic Party state.
Okay. And she's going to actually run to be a delegate. So basically delegates pledge to support specific candidates, all right? So we got to make sure that we have the majority of delegates pledged to Bernie and not Hillary.
Right.
Or O'Malley.
Right.
Or whoever else is out there, okay? So Carol went to a meeting yesterday where they discussed the strategy. No?
No, I didn't, my knee was bothering.
Oh, I'm sorry. Okay, well, it doesn't matter. She's been researching this. She went to one last week. And so she's got the information that we need. How are you doing? Are you finding it? Okay. So they actually host elections for the delegates. So I have a question here. How many here are registered Democrats?
I am now.
I am now. I changed it over.
Okay, so here's the story in California. Right now, it's a semi-closed primary for Democrats. It's totally closed for GOP. So Republicans can only vote in the Republican primary. For the Democrat, if you are a Democrat or an independent, you can. However, the Democratic Party can change that up to 135 days prior to the primary.
And I'm sure that they will.
Yeah, exactly, so, that's right. So we're, I was registered independent and working for the Justice Party, and I changed, renewed my driver's license 2 weeks ago, and I changed, and I'm now a Democrat. Till we get Bernie in. Brenda was the same.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
And where did you go online to make that switch?
I don't remember exactly.
Was it Secretary of State?
Should be.
Or DMV, or
think
you can
It
Google it.
wasn't through the DMV though.
Yes, you
I think you can just Google
Yeah.
registered
Yeah.
from California.
Literally like the registrar of voters.
Yeah.
Go
Okay.
to your county registrar of voters. You can sign up online. So each
Yeah.
county has their own registration. You do have to register in your own county.
Right.
So, and Orange County would be the registrar of voters for Orange County. LA would be the registrar of voters for LA County, whatever county you live in.
So a cute story, right? It was time to renew my driver's license, so I go up there to do that. I fill out the form, and at the back I noticed, they haven't even said anything, I noticed the registration form to change my affiliation, right? My political affiliation. So I filled it out, and when I brought it back, the guy said, be sure to tell them that you filled that out. I guess they miss it, right? So when my time came to pay, I bring the form up, and I said, by the way, I redid my political registration, and I'm registering Democrat so I can vote for Bernie. And he goes, I'm voting for Bernie too! In Orange County, folks! Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so don't trip on this as you come up.
Yeah, this is the first,
Well, come up over here, because that way you don't have a thing in your eye, and then you can talk.
All right. I'm a delegate to the California State Democratic Party, and I represent my assembly district. So there's basically 6 people in each assembly district, or 12, 6 males and 6 females. I'm one of the 12 and one of the 6. I'm also elected to the e-boards, and the e-boards of the state determine policy, and they change rules and regulations. So I'm going to my first e-board meeting in August, and they're going to talk about changes to the draft for the delegate selection. My understanding now, and maybe Dave, you know a little bit more about this, is that once you've pledged for a candidate, for example, I would pledge for Bernie, for sure. The state cannot force you to change your designation, but the state right now, the state party, issues the number of delegates to a particular candidate based on the primary results. So if Bernie Sanders gets 60% of the vote and Hillary gets 40% of the vote, he's won the primary, but for the national convention, 60% of the delegates go to Bernie and 40% of the delegates go to Hillary. So that's something that I'd like to look into a little bit more about the rule and regulation where they can't tell you you have to change your pledged candidate. This is the way delegates are elected right now. District level delegate, there are 317 and there are 34 alternates. You can go on the California Democratic Party website, which is CADEM, CADEM.org, and it goes into a lot more detail. So I'm going to run for a district level delegate, and anybody in this room that's a registered Democrat can also run for a delegate for the national convention.
When do we vote for this particular thing? When is your election?
I'm going to get into that. That'll be on the next slide that I'll show. There's at-large delegates, there's PLEO, which don't apply to any of us, there's unpledged delegates, and the total number of delegates are 546 and 45 alternatives. Okay. If you're running for a district delegate, which all of us can do, you fill out Form A, which is found on kdim.org. And the filing period is actually February 29th through April 13th. The form will be available online on the 29th. So if you want to run, I would suggest that you fill that out as soon as it is available and email that. The voting is held on May 1st, and the voting sites are where your congressional district normal meetings are held. And I want to go to the next
slide that tells a little bit more about delegates. And this, I'm talking the National Convention delegate. It's really pretty easy to do. You just have to make sure that you're registered as a Democrat. Check your district and determine which congressional district you're registered in. I mean, I know my congressional district. If you want to know what yours is, you can go to this website in blue, http://www.house.gov. Enter your postal zip code and it will tell you what congressional district you live in. File, you have to submit Form A, and that can be found on this same website, kdim.org. Fill it out between the 29th and the 13th of April of next year, and then start canvassing. What you need to do, because you're elected, you need to get as many people as you possibly can to come to the meeting on May 1st to vote for you. Now, the people that vote have to be registered Democrats, and they have to live in your congressional district. So those are the rules and regulations, and they will check. They'll have computers there, so if you have supporters that don't live in your congressional district, or maybe they're registered as NPP, they'll catch them and they won't be able to vote. So make sure that you do that. Organize your friends, organize your supporters, bring as many people as possible to get you elected. Caucus. Show up with your supporters on May 1st at the voting place. And that voting place will be listed on this website, kdim.org. So it's really, it's as simple as that.
You have to show up with all the people that you've collected.
The voting is done in person.
It's a popularity contest.
Yeah, and you don't have to stay. Your supporters can come to the meeting. And I don't like the way they set the meetings up, because your speeches for all the candidates that are running are at the very end. So a lot of people don't want to sit around for 2 hours listening to a bunch of BS and waiting for you to give your speech. They just want to get there, they want to vote for you, and they want to go home. And that's fine, they can do that. They can show up, vote for you, and split. So that's easy. I mean, you don't have to physically come with your supporters. They can come, in their own cars or buses or whatever. But just make sure they show up and that they vote.
So we need a delegate in every district.
We need as many delegates as we can get. There's going to be, in most CDs, there's going to be 3 females and 3 males that are elected as national delegates, and 1 alternate. And in some districts, the alternate will be male, and in other districts, the alternate will be female. So that's a total of 7 people. 3 males, 3 females, and 1 alternate, male or female. So that it's really pretty simple. Are there any questions?
So it's up in the air now. I mean, you declare you want Bernie, but if Hillary wins, they need a certain number of delegates for Hillary. How do they do that? They're going to have to change the rules?
I don't know, but right now, the way the draft reads is if I've pledged for Bernie and they determine that Hillary needs X number of delegates, and they tell me you need to pledge for Hillary, they can't make me change my designation. There are going to be people who will be elected that are pledging for Hillary.
Okay, so there will be, they'll find what they need to put together the right coalition.
I think
Not if we do our
part of
job.
that comes from the first slide that I showed, unpledged delegates.
Okay, I
They
see.
can tell them, and electeds.
All right, got it.
And electeds, they can tell the electeds, you must pledge for
Okay.
Hillary, you must pledge
Yeah, I
for
didn't think
Bernie.
they'd leave that out.
But I think district delegates, they can't, if you pledged for Bernie, they can't make you change your pledge.
All right.
I noticed the date was different for the at-large delegates. So does that mean if you ran for a district delegate and didn't get it, you can still put in to run for a state at-large?
I don't think so, because there's a time period.
It was like 6 weeks later.
That's selected from a different pool, and I don't think
Okay.
any of us are part of that pool.
Okay.
Is that correct, Dave?
No, you can, that pool is elected at the state convention.
The
Or
at-large.
I don't know which, I don't remember which, but the at-large delegates are voted on at the state, the CDB state. I think it's a convention, but it might be an e-board if it occurs. One or the other, that's
Okay.
the way they get away.
Okay, well, the convention in 2016, the Democratic convention, we've already had it this year,
Right.
was in May.
Is it the Weston? Right.
But the convention in a presidential election year, because we have a primary coming up, is in February.
Okay.
So that's a little bit different.
Ready to
I
take
can
that
find
now?
out.
Yeah. That's really basically it. I mean, any of us can run for delegate to the national convention. I would love to go, because I've never been to a national convention. I think there would be so much energy there, especially with Bernie. It would just, it would be wonderful.
It's also out of your own pocket too, right?
It's out of your own pocket, yeah.
As a delegate, the Democratic Party doesn't help out at all.
No, no. No, that's far too much money. Democratic Party's poor. Maybe the Republican Party could afford it, but the Democratic Party, no.
They could afford it, but they wouldn't do it.
Exactly, exactly. So you're on your own. All told, to go from California to Philadelphia, which is where the National Convention is going to be in 2016, with hotel, with airfare, with food, with incidentals, etc., you can plan on spending anywhere from about $1,800 to about $3,200. So it's not cheap, which I do. So if you can't do that, don't run for delegate. So, anyhow, that's it. I just wanted to let people know that.
Okay, in the meantime, I've taken the registration board in from outside, and it's gonna go around again. And if you have not filled in your email address, your cell phone, and your zip code, it's very important for the zip code, okay? Because that's how we're gonna organize, is through zip codes. Because it doesn't make sense for me to work with somebody from San Clemente, but it makes sense for San Clemente to work with San Clemente, right?
Yep.
Okay, so be sure that you put your zip code on there, all right? Maybe I can lean this up.
You're okay, I can listen. I can multitask.
All right, we'll see what we can do. All right, so this actually was from our last meeting we had in June, and we talked about active voter registration, and that we need to go after independents and third-party candidate voters. We need to get out onto the college campuses, okay? And they want to actually, I think there's a group called Students for Bernie. And I see Dion, yes, honey.
John and I have this idea of putting the college campuses the first week that they have, the school starts, and standing, hopefully getting this, I think Students for Bernie is working with this,
Okay.
and getting people out there with signs, T-shirts, wherever the traffic flow is, either in a major parking garage standing on the corner of the street, GCC, so we'll be out there. But that first week, no one misses classes, because if you miss your class, you don't get to class.
That's a
So
great idea.
People standing around rallying for Bernie during that week.
Also with the data to help them maybe get a group off the ground at their college?
Yes, I'm up in LA County, Glendale, and we have been in contact with a lot of students who are representing each college.
Great idea, so I just wrote that down, first week of classes, okay, so whoever ends up being on this team, all right, let's remember Dion's idea. John.
I might be able to help you with that too, because I got access to the Student California Teachers Association, who have chapters on multiple campuses across the state. And they also have the ability to, let me stand this, so that if you need to reserve rooms or spaces on the because sometimes you have to reserve the table, you have to get permission to chalk and all that kind of stuff. So, out of the campuses that we are located in, I'm sure I have contacts or can get contacts on those where they can help with that type of stuff.
Okay, I'll get your name and number.
Okay,
See, this is really good.
last year we had over, I wanna say maybe 1,500 members statewide.
John, did you put that on the clipboard that you can actually do that? Can
There
you?
wasn't any more.
All right,
room, but-
turn the paper over and
Okay.
write it on there so I can make a note of that. And
Okay,
put
yeah,
the
because I got a
database.
lot of access to millennials.
Okay, good.
Okay, all college campuses have a free speech area, and you need to contact administration. It's generally done by administration, but you can reserve an area for this free speech. And most colleges will provide the table and 2 chairs for you. Most colleges will allow you to put a canopy pop-up there. So you can actually be on campus in a free speech area, which is kind of usually located near the student union, which is a lot of traffic, so it's a good place. And I would encourage you to also try doing that.
A lot of the students are forming clubs, so there will be official clubs on the campus.
Yeah, I think you have to go through the student union and you have to get permission from administration
Yeah.
to do that.
Yeah, so there goes your free speech.
Yeah,
What
right.
I'm talking about, like, at GCC is the corner off of the main road where they go into the parking structure. That's just public property to stand there.
Okay, so what we'll do is when the teams break out to talk about things like that, that's where we'll actually get more ideas, okay, for that. Because otherwise, we're going to be here all night.
We know that we're going to be hearing from Bernie and his campaign manager about how to do outreach and all that, and hopefully there'll be some flyers and materials coming with it. Getting to places where there's a lot of visibility, maybe just a couple of thoughts. Once in a while, having a couple of rallies and a couple of big corners where there's a lot of traffic, like on Elton and Culver and Irvine, and other people will have other ideas. Having a couple just where you're there with signs and stuff. Okay, another thing, our farmers markets, finding ways, those of us that have shirts, and I don't own one yet, but I'm gonna get one, or shirts or buttons or whatever, maybe going to those, and if we're allowed to hand out flyers, hand them out. But another thing right now with this Orange County Fair, there's probably no ability to be able to table there. There will be voter registration tables, but that's not political. But one thing we could do is maybe organize a couple of times where enough of us go with shirts or with buttons, and we kind of just walk around kind of close together where people kind of just notice.
Yes.
Your young people are going to be there, and I think that's a critical way to draw attention to where they're seeing this, start asking questions, knowing what they've heard, or maybe that, but just to be visible that we are a force. I think that's pretty powerful, and I don't know how to organize it, but I think do it a couple of times, and not everybody can come. Some people can come once, but just get this notice out there.
That is an excellent idea, not just for the fair. The fair is great because, as Julie just said, it's 4 million people. But there is going to be the chili cook-off up in Cyprus.
It's an entire festival all day long. So it's a huge festival. Almost 30,000 people will attend.
Yeah.
So if anybody's interested in joining me for a little flyering there.
Yeah, just something.
And I love the idea, if we can get a group of people to support one another, I mean, 1 or 2 is okay, it's
Even
better
if
than
you're
nothing.
there just for an hour
But
or
if we could get 5 or 6 or 7 or 10 or whatever people together,
That's fine.
and we all have shirts on and something to hand out. And I love that idea.
And
It's
even if you
it's
don't
almost like a flash mob.
Right. You may not be
very
able to hand anything out in the fair. That might be prohibited.
Right.
But just being there,
That's
and
right.
several people, a number of people together and walking around, the shirts don't have to match, but they do need to say stuff that draws attention. One of the biggest groups that has joined the Bernie campaign, it's shocking, are the young. And when the young are going to be at these places, it's not going to be as many older people as it is going to be the young kids. And when they see this, they're going to start asking questions, talking to each other about it. Those that may know something will share something with others, but I think that's critical. We may not.
That's a fabulous idea, Marlene, thank you. Okay, and I see, give me your name.
Anya.
Anya.
Andrea, but all of you can call me Anya. First off, sorry, I was an hour late. It's a good excuse, but I'm not gonna go on about that. So I'm a professional harpist, and speaking of flashy, that could continue use. I'd be more than happy to volunteer my time, my services, and I've been doing it already with my own nonprofit and a few nonprofits that I'm a part of. They would just sort of bring me out and have me play, and that would attract people to approach and to kind of get interested and see what exactly was the cause about, and a lot of people will join just because of that, so I'm here as far as that goes.
Great idea. Good. I like that idea. Okay, so are we just going into the idea section? I think you all are primed. So let's go there, okay? Let's utilize this energy. I saw Dion, then I'll come back to Lisa, and then I'll come over here to Richard. Okay, Dion?
So I live up in Glendale, North Michigan, right by Montrose, and ever since '07, on the main corner there in that little shopping street, on one corner there were the war protesters, and diagonally there were the veterans, and they would be there every Friday night. Anyone who lived in that area knew, it was like a brand. They knew that they were going to be there. So we're going to start this Friday going up there on the east side, because they still meet there. Sometimes it's just a handful of people. But I think the honk, we call it, getting people to honk for Bernie.
Oh, I like that.
It's less intimidating for those who are, new to this political game where they don't want to go and speak to people. But they can sure hold a sign and get people honking. And if we're there every Friday night for just an hour and a half, people are going to get used to seeing these blue shirts and our rally signs, and pick a corner and just start gathering.
Great, good suggestion. And we need to really work on that, okay, and do that here in Orange County. I know that there is the Coalition for Peace, I think. Dina Nada is with them and whatever. Code Pink.
Yeah.
Okay, that they all meet up on every Friday up at South Coast Plaza. So, and consistency is always the key, all right? If you start it, keep it up. And because it just grows in mushrooms, and it gets bigger and bigger. And I highly suggest, just like your house parties, just like we're doing this, every third Sunday, somewhere in Orange County at 2 o'clock, we're going to be like this. All right, hopefully we get a bigger venue. And ultimately what we want to do is, and we talked about Judy and Bernie, and we got John over here, is that we want to actually cut Orange County into like quadrants or sixths or whatever, and we'll do that as leaders emerge. So look, we got a leader here, we got leaders here, we got, who, as the leader emerges, then that area will become its own little pod, and we'll do things simultaneously. So if we're doing something, wouldn't it be great? I mean, it's just like mass duplication, right? So the core leadership will be together. We'll come up with these activities, and then they'll go back into their pods and disseminate all that information so that you don't have to travel all the way to South County or go over to North County or whatever. You can do it close to home.
And we can crisscross and help each other out if necessary.
Exactly, that's right. There will be areas that we have to adopt. There is nobody in it, and we'll have to go in there, and we'll have to adopt it and do that. And we'll need all of us concentrating, because that'll be a mass influx. And this is kind of the strategy we use going up to Occupy Orange County. What we did is we did mini demonstrations all over Orange County, giving out flyers leading to that one day. Okay, so, and it worked. So if this is the plan, okay, so we're all here, and then we're going to eventually, can you imagine if we were having these all over Orange County? How exciting we are. It is going to happen,
What's going to be the synergistic point? Is it the meetup?
The meetup, that's why I keep asking you, please go into the meetup,
So
okay?
all these activities will be posted on the meetup then?
Yes,
that's
and
how we
if
can all convert it.
you're a leader, I need to get you into the leadership team on the meetup, so
you're
you
gonna
can
do-
post your events.
I would like to, I live right next to the fair and I'm unemployed right now and I would like to help organize that and get it started ASAP.
All right, I love it, I love it. All right.
It already started, it started
You
last
know, we
night.
did the same thing at Cal State Phillips
Just
when we
started.
did the Occupy. We went from classroom to classroom to classroom
Yeah.
and gave presentations and came up with a coordinated time at the 12 o'clock classes. Okay, we're all walking out of these classes at these times.
Oh, I
And
like
that's
it.
what we did, and we occupied for 4 days.
Yes. All
Twice
right,
we
way
did
to
that.
go.
Once we took over the administration building,
Uh-huh.
and then the next fall, the next fall, we took over the quad and the Occupy because we challenged their free speech area.
There's something to be said about being organized.
Yes.
Okay? So, okay, so now, all right, so we've got these ideas. Any other ideas, Julie? I mean, Lisa. Got it.
Is it okay if I come up front?
Sure, come on up.
Hi, everybody. I'm Lisa, and I live in Cyprus. And I'm kind of more all about efficiency and getting the vote. And it seems to me that what really works for me, like how I made the decisions, I needed to read the platform of Bernie in order to, make because I think all along I thought, oh, Hillary's the only one running. So I think that what we're all about is having to educate people, and a lot of people are gonna have to do what I had to do, was kind of like switch over. The only way to do that is to have a little education. And to me, for example, reading his platform, and also having even more than just his platform. I think it can be done on a piece of paper, double-sided, if it's very efficiently and well done. And it really is about making our case, in addition to having contact information for not only Bernie Sanders, but also for people who want to get involved locally here in Orange County. But it has to be, a flyer, I think, has to be really well done. Orange County is conservative, so I'm going to try and put together, and where I live in Cyprus, it's very conservative, so I'm going to put together a flyer that I think will work for like my little region, but it's something to think about. Also, it's really important, practicalities matter. I have my BA is in political science, but I didn't really use it until recently, the past few years. I did some campaigning volunteer work in New York City. I volunteered for the guy who ran against billionaire Michael Bloomberg. That was fascinating and very eye-opening to see how a billionaire can buy themselves 3 terms as mayor of New York City, which is what he did. He was already very powerful being a multi-billionaire, but then to hand him over the keys of the city like that, they really gave him a lot of power, and it has transformed the city. It's made it comfortable for the 1%, not so much for anybody else. Anyway, so that was a big learning experience. Then I came back here to my hometown, to take care of my parents, and I discovered some corruption going on. Our city council got got the citizens inadvertently, we voted yes on a land rezone, and we gave developers an opportunity to come in and build some horrific thing right in our city. So when I discovered that, I said, I gotta do something here, and Cyprus is made up of about 50,000 residents. About 25,000 of those people, about half are registered to vote. So a lot of people vote in Cyprus, but most are Republicans. So anyway, I had this problem, like there was like 1 or 2 of us that knew about this problem, but I said to myself, how do I educate 50,000 people about this problem? So I thought about the flyering idea, and then I found out through a friend about a great place to get low-cost flyers, and this matters if you're gonna do thousands of amount of flying. There's a place in Signal Hill, Long Beach called Instant Impressions. If you order black and white flyers, double-sided would be good, but black and white in particular, we were ordering them at like 5,000 flyers at a time and getting a remarkably best deal you can get. Maybe there's other places like that. But that kind of thing matters, is being able to get things at a low price. So Instant Impressions, it's either, I think it's Signal Hill near Long Beach. So anyway, with me and about 20 other volunteers, we literally went to like every house in the city. It's a lot of work, and it's great to do it in the morning, but we flyered almost that entire city, which was like 10,000 homes. What I'm thinking is that what do people need? They need education, they need to be convinced, and I'm thinking that a really great flyer would be the way to do it. So I'm committed to doing it for my region, all the cities near me, and it's just something to think about, okay? Just something to think about. We have the fall, instead of going to the gym, we're doing a live flyer.
Okay, so we're gonna put here flyers, and this is really important, and I am a believer in this as well. You know, Carol and I did my flyers for my congressional race. We ran them off on my copiers. But I got 3.8% of the vote. Okay, that I
Yeah,
don't
you
think
did.
nobody knew who I was, but it was simply because we were educating them. I did the same thing. I had my agenda, what I was going to do for the district. So I am a firm believer in flyers. Jen, you want to say something, honey?
Really quick about the flyers, I am not political, but I'm a blood donor, I love it. And I organized one of those Red Cross trucks, right? And when you just do it and let people sign up at the gym or something, they get maybe 5-6 pints. I went and put flyers that I made up on cars saying one pint saves 3 lives.
Oh,
which
wow,
it
that's
does.
great.
And 32 people came.
Wow.
The average is like 5. But I did all the parking lots just around the truck, said today, it's right there. So you got an hour, you look over, you go donate blood.
Thank you.
32.
We're going to go here and then here. Go ahead.
Lisa mentioned something that was efficient with nonprofits I work with, but I don't know if that's possible. I'm not sure if it's legal. Is door-to-door an option?
Yes,
Okay,
it is.
so I know for a fact that system really works. You run into maybe 2% of people that actually refuse to talk to you, but 8%, 9% of people actually are interested to hear about it, and a lot of them don't know. And the biggest problem right now is indifference, or people are just being pessimistic and indifferent towards the entire situation and towards the fact.
Door-to-door does work. I was
In churches.
I was a Jehovah's Witness for 38 years. Door-to-door.
In churches, and going to churches.
100 hours a month knocking on doors, baby.
Hey.
Okay, so Angela.
I live across from UCI and I can reach a lot of miles.
Okay.
I couldn't hear that. Say that again.
430 and Coast Oasis.
Sure. You can go. You can go. Go
So
ahead.
that's
sweetheart.
92612.
Okay. Did you fill it in on the form?
I may not have.
All right, just send me an
I filled
email.
it in on one form.
Okay. All right, that's good. Thank you for being here. Appreciate it. We have a seat, folks. One seat. It's going fast. Take a bid. 5, 10, 15.
And I don't smell, I promise.
No, that left another seat here. Okay. All right. Kylene and then Judy. And Rich. No, Rich. I'm sorry, Rich. Rich, and then we'll go to Kylene.
Okay, I'll try to make it quick. Last night we hosted a fundraiser in Riverside. We went through a nightmare of logistics because of the rain. We had no idea it was going to
Rain in July?
Yeah, we thought we were going to be in a heat wave. Instead, we had a rainstorm. But anyway, we raised over $3,000 for Bernie last night.
Yeah.
We're trying to, galvanize the Latino voters in our area. We're trying to spread that around through all of Southern California and, around the nation. And I don't know where the gentleman was at. The speaker that we had last night, yeah, he drove from Juarez, Mexico, 1,000 miles to get here. El Paso, Texas, yeah, right on the border. Anyway, it's very important if you guys are planning on holding a fundraiser or anything to do something similar that we did. Make sure you have a backup plan, because we did not, because we thought we were going to be in a heat wave, not in a rainstorm. It still worked out. Luckily, we were able to continue with our event. The other thing, I had the fortune to meet some great comedians about a month ago. They have a show on KPFK, Jimmy Dore Show. I don't know if you guys know him. He's a political blogger and comedian, great comedian. So they have committed to me that anytime we find something similar to what we did last night, they'd be more than willing to help out. And so I had an idea, and I would like to talk to Anya, because this idea it's called Artists for Bernie Coalition, where we can create a website, bring in people like yourself, like the comedians, musicians, sculptors, painters, whatever, artists that can come together, sign onto this website, and commit to, if an event pops up in the area, they can be notified right away, or somebody can go to the website and say, hey, we're going to have an event. We would like some artists to come out, and perform.
I have a lot of colleagues as well.
Yeah, so we need to talk.
Or graphic designers to make flyers.
Or that, yes, absolutely.
All right, so
we need to come together on that.
I think we need an entertainment committee.
Okay, so we're going to work on that.
Entertainment.
And then,
Yes, and we're going to have
You're
a flyer
Dion?
committee.
Talk to me after.
okay, I want to talk to you right now. I have a comment for you as well. Real quick, I'll finish up, but we have some friends that every Friday evening in Echo Park, they do an anti-war rally on the same corner, and it's been going on for the last couple of years, 3 years. And they're in Echo Park, right near Silver Lake.
People who, there is a, East Los Angeles, is she here?
Yeah, East Los Angeles.
Yeah, Mission is
Yeah, she's right here.
Oh, perfect. We need to talk also, because one of our speakers was from East LA College, a young student. He's trying to find other students and organizations to start Joseph.
Yeah, we're in contact, Joseph.
Oh, okay, perfect. Okay, yeah.
I love this. This is so cool.
So anyway, yeah, let's get out the
And
vote.
then I have another hand. Wait. Okay. Kylie, yeah. Do you want to piggyback off?
No, I just wanna tell them I finished with our event was fun. We have bands, we have comedians, and it was fun. Who was there with us? No, was fun.
Yeah, he left, I think.
Yes, and fundraisers should be fun. So speaking of which, okay, I forgot to say this, shame on me. We have what is called anonymous donating here as a fundraiser. So basically what you can do is if you want to contribute today to Bernie's campaign, you can make a check out. And did somebody check that Bernie Sanders 2016? Did somebody? Okay, we'll check it out. But you can make a check and we'll mail it in for you. Definitely, and then, or you can go over to the official Act Blue website, okay, and you can make a credit card donation. It's on the piano here. Just go over there, do it. Nobody's gonna notice. And then what we'd like for you to do is, if you are making a donation, there's a piece of pad of paper. Just write the amount, no name, and drop the amount in the bag behind it. At the end, we can count it up and then we know how much we raised today, and it's all anonymous and in private, and so that's how we do it. I'm the only person that will see the check. Just fold the check over, put it in the bag, and it will go to Bernie. Yes?
If the check is more than $99, you need to fill out the information that's required.
Yeah, that's important.
Okay, but I don't have that. I asked them for campaign envelopes. I still don't have it. So they put your telephone number on it. They can contact them. That's all we can do at this point. Okay? All right. So, Kylene?
So I was just thinking because I think the main thing with this campaign is to raise awareness, because Clinton is a household name. Everyone knows who Hillary Clinton is, whether you're involved in politics or not. But for a lot of people who aren't, they might not know who Bernie Sanders is. Especially a lot of people in my generation, I didn't even know who he is until like a few months ago when I went to the Sister Giant conference.
That's right, yeah.
Yay,
And I think, especially with millennials, is to kind of make it more of like a cool kind of pop culture thing, because they really respond to things like that. So, you know, thinking something that we could do like every week, like Feel the Bird Wednesday or whatever day of the week, where you just wear your Bernie pins or your Bernie shirt, and that way, you know, it kind of does create that flash mob kind of feel. Everyone's like, who's
Oh,
this
I
Bernie
like that. You
guy?
like that?
Yeah,
idea?
that's an excellent
And
idea.
Wednesday would be great because we do Wednesday Twitter storms for Bernie. So that
There
would
you
be
go.
great. You all want to adopt Wednesday? We all wear Bernie
Yep.
paraphernalia.
Sounds good.
That sounds great.
Awesome.
And also I feel it's a good way for people who maybe don't have the time, or they are not sure about spending the time doing like actual campaigns. They could still, you know, get a shirt or get a pin and just wear that on Wednesday to show that they support Bernie. So even if they can't come out and volunteer their time, they can at least, you know, wear a t-shirt. I know a lot of students would probably be into that. And then also I have a question as far as voter registration. I don't know if it needs to be a certain committee, because I know a lot of people at my school, they are not registered to vote.
Yes, we need,
And
yes.
I don't know exactly what are the rules to go about
just need to
doing that.
yourself, you just need to be a registered voter in order to get the rest of them.
So we want a voter registration team.
Yeah, so because a lot of, you know, I know people might procrastinate all the time, so I don't know if there's a way for them to sign them up right then and there, whether it can be like on an iPad, because I know you can just go online and register super easy.
Okay, so, and that is very important that we get as many people registered for the primary.
Yeah.
All right?
A lot of people think, oh, presidential election, they don't
Right.
know it's the primary.
The primary is where it happens.
May 23rd, you have till May 23rd.
May 23rd, okay, and Brenda?
My idea was actually
similar to that one, is that we need to get these millennials registered.
Yes.
So I would be willing, because that's where I feel like this is where it's gotta start, is because a lot of these kids are like, oh, they don't understand the process of voting, so they procrastinate, they don't do it on time, so I think it's a great idea to maybe, for example, my daughter is 19, my son's 22. I could have them have parties at our house, like a registration party. They can bring their friends, they can all register with a laptop out, they can all get it done. And I
That's
think when
perfect.
they're registered, or officially registered, they're
Yeah.
more likely to actually vote.
So basically what we need to do is we'll get the voter registration team in touch with the millennial team, and they can work together. Okay, so that's how we're gonna do this, okay? So, all right, and then I saw Chris.
Yeah. I probably have a nice solution for Santa Ana because I live on Santa Ana Boulevard next to the train station in Artist Lofts. We have the art walks the third Saturday up, I can roll up the door. I have a captive audience every day because when the train comes, traffic stops, everybody stopped there staring on the side at the loft. So there's a lot of things I can do. There's a courtyard in the middle. A lot of the artists there are progressive, so I assume, I can't speak for them, I'm not sure. But I assume they feel the same way. There's a lot of hobbyists that are teachers, and I've already talked to some of them about putting signs up, or putting something in my windows that people will see that.
I brought signs, everybody, and buttons.
Yeah.
All right.
Dion is from, she's Glendale for Bernie Sanders, and she was a step ahead of me on swag. So she offered to bring it down, and so
Rally signs and buttons.
she's got them, and I know that you had to buy those, and you want reimbursement on those.
Yeah, I'm selling.
And the sign is how much?
$5.
$5, and the buttons?
$3 or 2 for $5.
Okay, 3 or 2 for $5, and then
Now, I've
Walden's got.
all these buttons here, I'm not gonna leave with any of them, so people can just help themselves.
Okay.
What's left.
So, thank you, Walden, appreciate that. And then I saw, thank you, Dion. So if you wanna have your box open when we break. We're gonna break very soon. All right, and.
I saw a discussion earlier today, and I think you were the one that started it. I think it's important to reach the black community.
Yes.
Now, the only problem with that is in Orange County, there is not a concentration of black people in one area. So my thought is that I go to my beautician to get my hair done. When I talk to them, they all have, they talk about their church.
Right.
I've never been to any of their churches, but I sure will go and let them know about Bernie. So I will find out the next time I go to my beautician, which is going to be in another month or so, or even just call her and find out where the black churches are in Orange County, and then try to go out and talk to some of the people in the black community.
All right, so I'm going to say, how do you say this? Outreach to.
The black community.
Okay, but then we also, because we're doing Latino outreach too.
Right.
So, okay, so black.
Black outreach.
Piggyback on that, the college campuses, I know Cal State Fulton has an African American Resource Center. There's BSUs on the college campuses. And there's a Sister Talk organization for black women at Cal State Fulton. I'm assuming I know that Saddleback has a BSU, Black Student Union, so that's another way to get with the millennials reaching out to the black community as well.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Eve, you might have a problem going into churches because they could potentially lose their tax exempt status if they politicize anything. So a lot of churches will not allow any kind of political discussion or campaigning or promoting a candidate.
But you can't talk about issues.
But you can talk about issues.
Issues, but not candidates.
Right.
Okay, so I'm going to go here and then here. And I say Anya?
Anya, yeah.
Anya, okay.
Or Andrea, either way.
Andrea is easier, but
So, did we already have church communities? I mean, I understand that we can't ask them to sign anything, but we could still work on educating them. And I mean, Bernie is very much pro action on climate change, and Pope's cyclical, pretty much.
So I'm going to call this.
So kind of accenting those two, accenting how those two relate.
I'm going to put this as organization outreach. Churches can fall under that, but there's other organizations that we need to also reach. So I'm going to do organization outreach. All right. All right, folks, because we're running down on time, and what I want to do before you all
Can I
leave-
just say some national things that are going on? I don't know if you know, August 8th is Chalking for Bernie, where they're just asking you to hashtag Bernie 2000.
Can you hold that, Cindy? And don't let me close without you telling,
There's
okay?
2 national things that you haven't mentioned.
Okay,
Going
so
on.
we'll do national, we'll stay in orange, and then we'll come back and do that, okay? So on our Facebook group, Orange County for Bernie, we have a template uploaded for these business cards, okay? And it's got the Bernie 2016, and then on the back it's the 12-step economic plan. Okay, so, and it will work on an Avery, you can go buy the Avery blank cards, the business cards, and that will work on that, okay? I would like to know, this one says People for Bernie LA, and I think I had Noah do one that was generic. So be careful when you go on there, unless you live in the LA area. There should be another generic one on there too, so, because we're not in LA. Okay, now, so before everybody leaves, all right, we've got several teams here that we want somebody to adopt, okay? We need a leader, and that way people in the group who want to work on those teams know who to go to, okay? So, we already have Julie to do the OC Fair, okay? And that really is just going to be it's going on now, right? Is it going on now?
Already
So
started,
this is
yes.
like, go see Julie on this.
How can we get shirts faster? Is there a PDF, like you said, that we can download and I can print shirts that we can?
Let's go to the detail, I'll help you with the details. Okay. All right, so, but that could actually come up underneath the event team. So, and I always like to have 2 people per team, if possible, because there's a synergy, you can work together, and it doesn't just fall on one person's shoulder, okay? So who would like to work on events with Julie? Anybody? Come on, guys, I can't do all this.
I'd like to vote to the voter registration.
All right, so Brenda, you want to do voter registration?
And I'll do millennial for Millennial Helps Me. I want a co-millennial.
All right, we want millennial. And who I don't know.
I can never spell it either.
Millennial, we all know.
Word spells it for me.
All right, so this is going to be John. All right.
Come on, millennials, help me out.
And then,
Who is Brenda?
Brenda Mitchell right there.
Would you see me in just a minute, because I might be able to put you in contact to do voter registration at the fair. You can take some time maybe to do that.
Entertainment?
Entertainment here. Where's the entertainment? Here. Okay.
You can put me down on that one as well.
Entertainment, Richard. And I will send you a follow-up email with all of this, so you all know who to go to. So if you're a leader, if you stepped up, make sure I have your email and phone, okay? All right, and let's see. Honk for Bernie. Is that going to go up under an event, or do we want just a team for Honk for Bernie? Do we put that up under events?
So, and they all live.
How many of you would actually go out and stand on the side with me at South Coast Plaza with signs? Now that's good. Huh?
District people stand on the corners of the district too, and that's.
Yes, that's right.
Do you have an outreach?
So we really do need this. So who can head this up? Okay, that's okay. I know you're excited. Just hold on. I need someone. This is very important.
Come on,
This
people, it's for Bernie. Let's do
Honk
it.
for Bernie. Somebody just
I think
to.
people are probably confused as to how to take leadership on a Honk for Bernie.
Yeah, it's called, you pick the time, and you make sure the Facebook page gets up there, you make sure it's up on Meetup, and you just make sure that people know. That's it. And you go out there, you know? And you could even have a sign party, which would be a hoot.
You know, when
You
millennials
get a
like
group to
that.
help you and cross promote on
Yeah.
their pages,
It
that's a great way to
depends.
get other people
Some
to say
people
their.
like it, some people
Yes.
don't.
All right, so that one's not going anywhere, so we're gonna move forward. Keep that in the back of your mind.
Jean Marie, if you have a committee for dealing with flyering, I'd like to be on it. And that would entail designing flyers and then finding duplication if anyone.
All right, who wants
I
to be?
volunteer for that.
Judy, all right.
Well, because you missing the Latino community, which is very important.
It's right here, honey. It's right here. Watch Latino, it's okay. We're Twitter tweeting again Wednesday night. Be on it, okay? All right. We reached out to the Latino community during Bernie's town hall, and we're going to do it again Wednesday night.
So I'm sorry, are you doing a whole minority outreach?
Yes.
Is that what that is?
Yes, minority.
I'm not a minority, but I'd like to be on that because I'm,
Jen, and who else wants to work on minority outreach? Eve?
Me?
And Carol.
Esther, all right? Eve.
Which, no more minority.
And did I see Carol? Did I see
Yeah,
your
we're
hand
actually
go
the
up?
majority now.
Yeah,
She's gonna be working with me.
A friend of mine is the president of the NAACP. He
Okay.
lives in Yorba Linda, close to where I live.
Okay,
And
great.
I'm
She's
sure
gonna
he
get
would-
me in touch with
He
him.
would let Eve speak, so I'm gonna ask him if she
Is
can
that Bobby?
speak to the group.
Good,
Bobby
good.
McDowell?
Okay,
No.
great. All right, guys, can you bear, we started a little late, so can you give me 5 more minutes? Okay, thank you. All right, so, all right, who wants organizational outreach? And that would be some churches, it would be like, just big organizations in this area.
And then you go and speak before them?
Speaking is, yeah, whatever we can do to get there. And okay, and that means we need a speakers team.
you're doing too many things, I think.
Well, that's okay, I can take care of the speakers. All right,
I love the other one.
Anya?
She has that
Okay. What are we missing? Oh, okay, so we've got the event. Oh, this was art walk. And we've got the, who's doing the events?
Me,
Who's me?
Julie.
Julie. Julie needs help with events. This is gonna be huge. We're gonna have a lot of events. As we go through the summer, in the fall, all the Oktoberfest stuff.
I have a question about that. If we have all these other subcommittees, they're still kind of under the umbrella of events, right? So if we're gonna have a millennial event, then I would help her. If we're gonna have a flying event, then Lisa would help her. If we're gonna have a minority event,
Exactly,
so on,
so what I
right?
need is somebody that can aggregate events in Orange County. In other words, somebody that's, like, I just found out about Cypress, but that's in 1 week.
Right.
All right, so we need somebody that can actually go through and keep an eye out for, and tell us about these
Like
events.
a calendar of events.
Yes, yeah. Anybody here a good archivist or
One of
researcher?
the good things about Meetup is everybody's on Meetup. You can inbox, so let's say Julie's on Meetup.
Okay.
I find out that there's these things going on, I inbox her and I say, this is a list of some of the things going on locally in my community. You might wanna look at it.
Actually, you know what I'll do, Brenda? I'll open up a thread on the discussion board.
Yeah.
We'll do an event thread,
Yeah.
okay? And then, so as anybody comes across events, you can go right to that thread and put the website is for it. Huh?
On Meetup or Facebook?
Meetup.
Meetup is a red.
Well, yeah, but Meetup is really gonna be where we're gonna organize a lot of stuff. We can announce it on Facebook. We
Right.
don't have the same capabilities on Facebook as we have on Meetup.
Right.
You could do a closed
Yeah.
group on Facebook.
Yeah, we are on there close,
Oh,
but,
okay,
but it
it's
doesn't
closed.
have the functionality
Okay.
that we get on Meetup.
Okay.
So, okay, so, all right, so we have Julie's gonna do the fair. We have Lisa and Judy. Lisa and Judy, raise your hands. Lisa, wherever you went. Okay, okay. We know Lisa, she was up here. She's gonna do flyers. We've got Kia and Richard doing entertainment. And we have Jen and Eve and Esther on minority outreach. We have John on millennial outreach. And what am I missing, folks? Come on, you can see it. I'm right up on it. Yeah, who wants to be in charge of swag?
You can put business cards on it too, right?
Right, yeah. This is swag. Who can help?
That could be in the.
Well, flags should go on the flyers, shouldn't it?
Yeah.
All right, you want to put that on the flyers?
Yeah.
Yeah, I'll go, it's like a
All right.
graphics committee.
All right.
Can I make a point real quick on swag?
Yeah.
On BernieSanders.com on their, when I contacted them about our event, they were supposed to send us a box of swag, buttons, flyers, envelopes, the whole works. They're so swamped right now with requests that somehow it got overlooked in their And we were supposed to get it by Friday, all of our stuff. It didn't come, so I called. They called me back Saturday morning. They said, we're so sorry. Somebody should have gotten back to you. There was a problem in the warehouse and we didn't get the stuff out. But the stuff was gonna come for free. It was gonna be buttons, t-shirts,
Wow.
everything. If you're gonna have an event like what we had, so this way we can, promote Bernie.
Yeah.
So
What do you ask for
that's
that?
pardon me?
Where do you ask for that stuff at?
It was through BernieSanders.com through in Vermont. They're one of
Okay.
their main office. So you can do that, but make sure follow up on it because they're swamped. So you're gonna have to keep following up. I have the contact information for the person in charge.
Okay, so let's do this, and let's, if you're gonna buy a lot of swag, now, anybody can go on there and you can buy whatever you need for yourselves, okay? But if you're gonna buy a lot of swag, like to do house party or whatever, be sure to talk to the leader and make sure they don't already have swag, okay? And, so we'll all coordinate that, okay?
And Dr. Don, that's where we got ours. Shipping is free if you spend over $10. And the rally signs I have, mine are generic to a rock, but we also bought Glendale for free, so they can be custom.
Okay. All right, I think we've passed our time of patience. It's hot and I promised you 4 o'clock, we're now 20 after. I think we've accomplished a lot. How many of you will be here on Wednesday, the 29th?
Be here.
Yeah.
Here at your house?
Here, at this house, so I know.
That's another event, right?
That's the big event, yeah, okay, great. And then John's got an event going again?
Two of them. One at Mission, one at Pink Ribbon Donuts in Mission Viejo. One will be at Cal State Fullerton. We'll know more tomorrow night because that group of 20, I think, Anya, you're on the email list as well that I got. Yeah, we're meeting tomorrow night, so there's going to be more events that night.
Okay, so again, I'm gonna ask leaders, please come to me and let me know that you want to be on the leadership team. We will stay in contact via conference call, and I will put you on Meetup as co-organizers so you can put your events up there, okay? All right, what?
Are you sending that out as?
Yeah, I'm gonna write this up. Okay, thank you so much, and we have plenty